back there.
I was just waiting for.
Oh, there's
Some of you need to be up here. Joel, are you tackling for sale by owners again?
I do what?
Tackling for sale by owners?
I'm doing open house. What do you mean in my life?
No, with your eyes.
Oh,
Not out of the way.
yeah. I said no to my wife.
Oh, crap.
No, I'm not gonna say. I was showing a house Sunday and I was walking, the client was someone else, I went to the garage to look at it, light, I didn't quite catch it, and then there were 2 stairs, and I second stair. And I'm popped up real fast, you didn't see it happen. I'm glad you know what happened. I just wanted to do it. The next morning was actually.
Looks like you got in a bar brawl.
Redefining a tough market.
Well, I didn't head up here, the eyes are hurt, all the blood.
That's you. That's not good. Well, do I need to keep track of time?
I told you to sell by owners for that reason.
I love it.
Yeah.
Are you guys okay with those chairs? Do you want the smaller ones to quote maybe up for a little bit?
I think
Aren't you up there too?
Yeah,
well, you're waiting for the panel.
Yeah.
You're being called.
If there's a bar in front of me, I'm okay.
Oh, there you go. All right. Oh, no, we're gonna bounce around and have fun. Yeah, don't answer your phone, everyone. And then let's make this, oh, is it on the Zoomy?
Yep, I got you all set up.
Let's also make this participatory, okay? So we're not up here to just blah. Like if you have any questions or want anyone to expound on anything, please speak up, okay? Okay, awesome. We're gonna, first of all, thank you all for coming. Is there anyone online?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all for coming, and then we are excited about this. So who can, and let's just start with Maya. Introduce yourself, how long you've been in business, and your topic for the day, and we'll just be this way for this time.
Okay. I'm Maya Kennedy, and I've been in business for about
Time flies.
yeah. I know. And topic is peace.
And I'm Jen Johnson. I've been in business since 2019 full time. And my topic today is online leads.
Awesome.
Too long. I figured out I've been this for about 38 years now.
Wow. Cool.
My topic is experiment.
Nice. I'm excited. Come on.
Most of you weren't born in 85.
That's fine.
I'm Sarah Fields, and I've been in business for 3 years now. Peace.
I'm Joel Ginsburg, I've been in business 6 years, and I'm open house.
Awesome. And I'm Michelle Matinsky. I've been in it 17 years, and I'm networking. So whatever. Network. Okay, awesome. And then let's just have a brief overview on, and we'll just kind of like do popcorn so everyone's not just going down the road past school. What are you most excited for about this market? Can we all agree it's a little bit different than last year? Do we agree on that? Is that a good baseline? Okay, cool. What are you most excited for with sourcing?
Well, it offers opportunities, and for a lot of people, they decide that it's a little harder, and that happens. They may not have set up enough money on the side or whatever to do what it is they want to do, so they slide out. And so there's more for the rest of us if we work hard to keep in contact with people that we've already been working with, and make sure those relationships are great. So there's a lot of opportunity here. Just
I love that. And Maya?
I think the opportunity is to sharpen my skills because it's not falling in my lap like it used to.
Yeah.
So, and then that way I have more value to bring.
What do you think, Jen?
I'm excited for interest rates to go down. And, with just the home prices continuing to go up, I feel like that is going to bring more buyers into the market and more more transactions. So I'm excited to see that change.
Awesome, thank you. Sarah?
Piggybacking off of Maya and Stu, kind of forming them together. I love what Maya said about sharpening skills because buyers was kind of everywhere the last couple of years. And then, Stu, you were saying how some of our competition has fallen out, and that leaves a lot of market share for us to go snatch, which is great. And then when it comes to clients, I've been able to help more first-time home buyers who don't have funds in the bank to pay for all their closing costs, because the last couple of years, you ask for a closing cost credit, you're not getting it. And so to actually help them get in the door and that's attainable is cool to see.
Yeah.
Even with it.
Yeah, that's true. What about you, sir?
I think it's the opportunity to, I look forward to, helping people with expertise, you know, especially my open houses, I do a lot of open houses, and people come in, even if they have an agent. I ask, you know, I still give them some information their agent may not be given them as far as the vendor that to work with or how to tackle it.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna jump right into it. What do you like about your type of lead gen, or what would be?
Free. Open houses are free. You can borrow someone's listing, you can borrow someone's signs, you can print out a piece of paper with a signature on it. You can get listing and leads for free.
Right. What percentage rate of people who come through open houses still already have a realtor?
Well, percentage, I don't know. I think at least one or two leads that are unrepresented. Every open house to do. If there's, and I'd say 25% come in unrepresented. And even if they do come in, even if they come in represented, you can always talk to them about real estate. You don't, you know, you're not coaching people by just talking to them about real estate. And I always find it funny. Are you working with somebody? Yeah. Well, who is that? I can't remember their name. I cannot remember their name. It's like they're not really working with somebody. They just don't want to talk to them. So I text them and tell them, let's say tell me a name. They're getting texts and put in my.
Well, that is my next question. What do you do after you're done with the open house?
I either that afternoon or that next day I call and follow up with them and say, hey, I met you at the open house. Just checking in. Do you have any feedback about the house? What you think of it? We take credit cards or cash. You know, I try to make it
That
lighter.
memo?
I have a smart plan command that I put them in where they get the text, email until they cancel me. And I have people that every year I get someone from 2 years ago that pops up. Hey, you've been bugging me for 2 years. I'm ready now. You know, so just keep bugging them.
Well, what do you, if they're leaving, right? What do you do to get their information to be able to text later?
So I have a sign-in sheet. So as soon as they come in the door, my script basically, come on in. There's a sign-in sheet right there and a brochure with about the house. Please feel free to grab one, and then I chat to them about, you know, what their situation is, how they're finding houses. Are you a nosy neighbor? Are you looking for a new home?
You call them and they-
Oh yeah, you nosy neighbor, or you and they're nosy neighbors, and they laugh at it. They don't. And then I let them look around the house, and then when they come back, I get a second shot at them.
Yeah.
And I give them how do you feel with the market? And I tell them what I think about the market and where we're at, how I can help them succeed in getting what they want, and how they're finding their homes. Are you finding your homes in open houses, or are you working with an agent?
Nice.
They say they're working with an agent. I say who? They don't know their name, and then I tell them for the next 2 years.
Perfect. Well, obviously it's successful, so thank you.
Yeah, it's not the only thing I do, but it's definitely 25% of my business. Sure.
That's awesome. Love that. Jen, how about you? Why do you like your type of lead gen?
I like my type of lead gen because I didn't have to have any sphere of influence, which I didn't have coming to Oregon, so it was my go-to. And I just found that the numbers are what speak. So as many calls as I'm getting, I kind of figured as many calls that I'm making, it's only a matter of time before I start converting.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of making the time blocking every day to sit down, go through calls for online leads, and knowing that I did kind of a rough number conversion just to kind of see what the percentage was. So I would say that, more than 75% of my business is online leads.
That's awesome.
And so I looked at just year to date, I've made, almost 800 attempted calls or messages. And out of those, I made 90 appointments.
Wow.
And out of those, I've closed 16 so far this year. So it's not that that's not my whole business, but that's from just online leads. So to me, it's just about sitting down and just making the calls and getting rejected and and, and following up with a text message and so I would say it's just work for me. That's why it's my favorite.
Yeah, I love it. So if we might go a little bit deeper on that. So if you get, let's say you're calling someone online lead and you get their voicemail, what do you do with that?
So I don't leave voicemails. I only follow up with a text message.
Okay.
So that's my messages. That's my attempted trying to reach them with a call first and then following up with a text message. And then sometimes I will follow up also with an email. So yeah, that's.
So is that just once? Like how often do you keep in contact with your attempted contacts?
So I don't really have a plan on that.
Mhm.
I try to do like the 3x3 where it's like you're trying to reach them 3 days in a row. I've just found that I'm more successful with just reaching out to new attempted people to connect with. So it's really kind of like a one and done for me.
Mhm.
I go through it, and then if I happen to have time to come back to it for people that I had already reached out to, then I definitely will. But I feel like there's enough where I can go through more leads that are coming in to reach out on that first.
Oh yeah.
Have you found more success in the follow-up text versus the voicemail?
Yes, definitely.
Why do you think that
Especially if
is?
they're an iPhone user. I don't know why. It feels like it's an easier communication.
Yeah.
But most of the time I have like a generic template in my text messages. As soon as I do reach out to them, I'll just send them that text to say, hi, so-and-so, my name is Jen Johnson. I'm with Keller Williams, the Gillette Home Team. Just trying to reach you in regards to your home search in Lebanon. I'd be happy to chat for a few minutes. When do you have time? And then usually I get a response. I shouldn't say usually. I'd say about maybe 35 to 40% of the time, I'll get a response to either say kick rocks. I'm not looking, I'm just browsing or whatever it is. Or yes, please call me tonight at 6, or follow up with me in a couple of days or whatever the case may be. Or I have time right now.
Yeah.
And I just jump on right
So
then and there.
are these Google ads or Facebook ads?
So it's a combination, Facebook, Google, Zillow. I haven't narrowed down where exactly they're coming from. They're just coming through our funnel of online sources through Zillow, Facebook, Google, Listcast, and then I can't remember the other ones that we have. We have a few other ones too.
So you said that you have more success in some of the text, especially for iPhone. Do you guys not use Sync or something like that?
We do, but I personally think that they can read if it's a like AI message. So that's why I like to send it from my phone.
So they know for real.
So they know I'm a real person. Yeah. And sometimes I will get that too, where they're just like, stop, and I'm like, I'm a real person, but no problem. I'm happy to read you or whatever. But yeah, I think there's more success if you're sending that personal cell phone number than the sync message.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Maya. Oh, why do you like your type of lead gen?
Door knocking. I like to engage face to face. I think it's powerful. People are less inclined to be rude or reject you or slam the door in the face. It happens, but I mean, it's very rare. But yeah, it's just it opens up dialogue.
So what types of door knocking do you do? Is it for just trying to find people? Is it around listings, around open houses? Like what is your conversation you're having as to why you're door knocking?
It's usually random. Like I'll just farm a specific neighborhood, or it will be after a higher listed sells, and then that way I can say, hey, So yeah, I don't really do open houses. I don't do it on open houses or just listed because I want to be able to bring to them success. And then the random farming is more just bring healing or looking at the list.
So if you take.
Thank you, that was my question. What do you take?
I print out usually the last 6 months of sales in that neighborhood. And market statistics for that specific city or town. And then I just paper clip my card onto it. And so I have that to offer them. Or if it's a listing I had just sold, then I will have that the list of listings sold and I'll circle it. You know.
That's so cool. If they don't answer, do you leave something or? Leave something.
Yeah, I don't want to waste material.
Yeah, that sounds good. Perfect. Thank you, Carol. All right. Why do you like your type of media, sir?
I like social media because I should say it comes naturally to me, because it didn't, but I've been doing it for so long that it feels like it comes naturally to me. And I enjoy doing it. I think it's fun. And it allows me to be lazy in my own way. That does take effort, but I'm not hating life when I'm doing it. So, and you get to connect with people you otherwise would never have found. Yeah, I just take clients from Instagram and they find me through the app. And if I didn't have my page, they never would have found.
So are you mainly Instagram or do you do anything else?
I have TikTok, but TikTok doesn't, I haven't really gotten any clients from that. I have a ton of people that are like, I'm from Texas, can you help me buy? Which I could, you know, get a referral from it, which I haven't pursued that very much, usually with a little bit of conversation. I know, you know, they're like, I'm 19 years old and
Yeah.
I have $2 in my bank account that day. Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, it's mostly Instagram and some Facebook.
Cool. And then what kind of posts are you finding are successful?
That's what's really tough about social media. It's really hard to measure because people, I don't know what the stat is now, but when I first started social media 5-6 years ago for like a smaller physical product, it was someone had to see something 7 times before making a decision. I think now it's much more than that, especially for something like buying a house, because it's a much higher dollar than a bottle of face lotion or something. But that's what's tough is you'll have people come out of the woodworks and you don't know why they're talking to you and you don't know like which post did it. It's probably all of them. So you just kind of post and hope it works. I'm sure you could look at the analytics and see like what the reach was, but it'd be really hard to see what worked for that one client.
Yeah. So how many times a day do you post? I guess, and then is there a successful time of day that you, I guess you can't tell, but what do you think? Is there a better time of day?
I have not looked into that.
Okay.
There probably is. And I have not gotten that far.
That's okay.
But I definitely think where most agents fail at social media is they're not on video. Just posting pictures and just stagnant things, that's not going to do it. Someone needs to trust you and needs to know your personality and you have to make them feel comfortable with reaching out. So they need to feel like they know you from your videos. And it's not all about real estate, because if you're just posting all this real estate stuff, you're just like another bot to them. It's like, no, yeah, here. But if you have personality and start sharing things about your life, I share a lot about my chickens and random people I don't even know every single day will send me chicken videos. It's hilarious. I just go like, oh, no, thanks for sending it. So funny. But they probably would now reach out about real estate later on, so they have that connection with me.
And so I'm significantly older than you, so I'm not on Instagram as much. It's not an excuse to. I just
Hair out my hair. And do what you're doing.
I know, yes. Okay, so bear with me for the question. So how do they know you're in real estate when they're looking at your Instagram post? Is it like on your profile? Does it say it on the post? Or?
So in my bio,
do they have to click on your bio to see that you're in real estate?
Well, they have to see my profile. Okay. So it says, you know, Facebook and Instagram are not the same company, so they're a little bit similar. But it says like, I don't know, Oregon real estate broker. I don't even know if it says something.
Yeah.
And then I have highlights. You know what highlights are?
Okay.
Okay.
No, it's fair question.
Okay. I have highlights. I have little house one, but then I have most of them are just about myself personally.
Cool.
But I have a real estate one, and then I do have posts about real estate. So I have like pending sold, things like that. Actually, right now, it probably does look mostly real estate because I haven't made actual posts, but stories and reels are really important, just the video.
Okay.
How important do you think hashtags are, up to you?
I think hashtags are out now.
All
That's what I've seen, is that they don't really do. So it's more about like SEO.
You have one Instagram?
I have two. I do not use the second one anymore. So I used to have a personal and just a real estate one. And then I would share, I'd put all my pending posts on the real estate one. I'd share that to my personal, but my personal is the one that has the most following. And I just didn't really see a reason for that. And I think that people connect with you more if you're just you're a person that happens to do real estate. And I don't know if you have chickens, but I have chickens, right? So you don't have to keep them separate because they're just people, trying to help people. So
I think if your friends are friendly because you're showing real estate stuff too much, then they're not.
yes, but they still probably are buying a house with somebody.
That's okay, Ian's.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna ask you, how much of your business comes from social media that you can measure so far?
It's really hard to measure.
Yeah.
So, and Stu will talk about sphere, but that's what's really cool about social media is it's also getting your sphere. So, for example, there's this client I had at close in June. I've known him since fourth grade.
Oh,
I
wow.
haven't seen him or talked to him in probably 10 years. And I've never reached out to him. And I get this random text one day and it's like, hey, this is Nick. I hope this is still your number, but Karen and I are moving home. Can you help us buy a house? And so he just saw, and we're not even present on Instagram, so he saw my post on Facebook. And I'm not as good about posting on Facebook as I am on Instagram. So it's just kind of cool to see these random people like, hey, I want to buy a house, and I'm not talking to them directly, I'm just posting. And I'd say 95% of the business is mostly sphere. And then another 5% are in.
That's awesome. Thank you. And did you have a question?
No, Joel just said, people didn't like him, that I was available.
Oh. Perfect. All right, Sue. Any questions? Hold on, I got this. Why do you like your type of lead deck?
So it's fun when you've been in the business a while and you have a lot of sphere influence, but people that are much more outgoing, go to networking, clubs, associations, part of the kids' school and everything can build that sphere of influence. So I know they teach us in bold to do that, but you have this or this, that, the other person. So it's nice and cheap. And it's just about building relationships.
Mhm.
So after you have finished doing a transaction too, put all the people in your open house, all that kind of stuff can go in your sphere of influence. You keep in touch with them, then pretty soon they're coming. So it's a nice, easy way to work. Not real easy, but it is a way to work with the people that you already.
So what, if you don't mind sharing, what do you do to stay in touch with them to keep showing up so that the people who are maybe inundating them on other medias, they still remember?
Or
Yes,
you're not, I used to not yours. Come up with my old customers.
I love it.
2
Oh,
years
even
ago,
another one.
she's very good at that. Anyway, yeah, it's,
You do like birthdays, house anniversaries, how do you keep showing up in their lives?
some house anniversaries because the title companies are sending them things that makes you remember. But the D2, D, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it sections out, the names. And so I find that a good way to go through people over and over again.
Mhm.
And often on our team, we have some sort of event or something like that too, that helps you want to talk to these people and you're inviting them to something which is very, very, very easy.
Mhm.
So just a giveaway kind of thing.
Yep.
I find that to be a nice excuse.
Mhm.
And the others, checking in on them after they close the deal. My problem is that I deal mostly with sellers,
Mm.
and those sellers leave, and so they're not around anymore. So I know that there's 2 people I've sold a house to the last year or so, and they keep popping into my mind. But the others, they go off the distance, so it's a little harder.
Yeah.
But I keep asking them, hey, have you been talking to anybody in the And they are.
Yeah.
Kind of a manager.
Yeah, I know. I remember you are always on the phone calling someone, so you're really, don't make mistakes. You're really good at it. You always have your little list of who you're gonna call so you can maximize driving, so you're really good at keeping in touch for sure. Yeah, that's really good. Cool. Okay, thank you. Okay. How do you prepare? We're gonna read this to the group and then we're gonna pick, okay? How do you prepare? I'm gonna stop one more time. Does anyone have any questions for anyone regarding anything that's been said? You've been doing fabulous asking while we've been going, so thank you for doing that.
Why aren't you talking about your?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Doesn't care.
I'm hungry. That was my thing. Okay. Okay. What do you like? Okay. So my topic is networking. So I'm heavily involved in the chamber, the Boys and Girls Club, Booster Club. To Maya's point, I tend to feel very comfortable in person. I want to throw up when I have to start making calls. I just think I'm like, oh, I hate my life. Oh. The same thing with like social media. I'm like, how do you? I feel like English is my first language. So I might have to proofread it. I might ask my daughter, is this spelled right? I have no idea. Is the punctuation right? That causes a great deal of anxiety. So I don't post a ton. So I love being face to face. And then how I chose to be face to face, like the chamber kind of just happened. It wasn't like, I'm going to join the chamber and do a lot with it. I just chose what I liked, right? So I'm very kid centric. My passion's kids. So I always want to help kids stuff. And my daughters, you know, it was easy to plug into what they were doing. I wish they weren't so old now. So all of you as young kids, good job. So like when they were at CHS, I just plugged in. You know, Riley was in theater and choir, I plugged in. Kayla was in cheer all 4 years, I just plugged in. I mean, fabulous in wrestling, right? I mean, that's
Done a lot of wrestling deals.
and a lot of wrestling deals, yeah. Exactly.
Have more children, that's.
Anybody got any for adoption?
Yeah, exactly.
Get in sports.
Take away from
Right.
that market.
Exactly. Exactly. So I just kind of gotten access. So I just like being face to face, and I choose what I like to be a part of that I can impact and affect, and just show up there. And I don't show up as a realtor. That's just not me. And of course, inevitably people are like, hey, what did you do? And I'm like, oh, it's real estate. And I let the mic drop. Oh, what's happening? Oh, well, let me tell you. So I just, just kind of comes about naturally. And I go, oh, I'm in real estate. How, what do you do to spend time during your day? I would say, what do you do? You know what I mean? So when I say I'm in real estate, I immediately change it to that. And then so that's what I like about Mid-Willamette. Okay. Okay. How do you prepare when doing this lead gen? Oh, that's good.
Well, I tried Monday or Tuesday to get an open house lined up. If I have a listing of my own, great. If not, I have my people that I use. Sharice's pitch, always looking for someone. Abby's always looking for somebody.
Cool.
Sarah's given me a couple and an house to be as one with. So find an open house. And then there's different levels of open houses. Level one, just go do it, put your name out, put your paper out, put your sign up. Level two would be go door knock that neighborhood on Thursday or Friday before the open house. Then level three, you can even do more, do a neighborhood free showing of the house, neighbors only showing from 10 to 11 to do your other open house, 11 to 1. So I don't usually do more than level two. I'll door knock Thursday or Friday, 25, 30 houses around the neighborhood, just with an invitation to the open house. And then I show up at least 30 minutes before the open house. I put my signs up. Balloons are important. I mean, more signs the better. Chris Suarez built his $1 million business on open houses, and he used to put 30 signs up for an open house. He'd have all around town pointing towards his open house. And I've had buyers come in who just weren't coming to the open house. They drove by some of the signs, stuff, and take a look at the house, and they ended up buying it. We're buying another house. So signs are important. Balloons are good, and then let's get it 30 minutes early. I usually do a FaceTime live or Facebook live or a TikTok video. I can't say it, I do it. And then I just stand there with 30 and let them come in.
So how does the door knocking work for you? Have you engaged?
I have, yeah. You get more of neighbors who want to know the listing price, what they're going to sell for, but you make connections, definitely. I've gotten people out of it. And if they don't answer the door, I just leave it on the door, the invitation. Then maybe we're out for a soccer game, they came back later and they saw it come by. Had a lady come by last year at one of the open houses and, she was a neighbor and she says, we're gonna sell ours next month. I said, let's have a conversation. You know what, do you know what it's worth today? She goes, well, it's worth more than this. Okay, let me bring some details to you and some statistics to you. And I actually have the open house disclosed. I said, I'll meet you at 115 your house. So when I goes on the house of one, I went over her house, 115, met her and her husband and listed it the next day.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, that stuff's not common, but it happens and I'll take 4 or 5 of those a year.
Mhm.
So,
What's the, that could sound obvious, but what's the point of having neighbors come in first?
well, no, it's worth it.
Okay.
It makes it sound important, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, for
Important.
sure.
Yeah.
So you can't tell all your friends all that good stuff.
It's more likely about,
Yeah, exclusive, and they know they're not there to sell the house, they're there just to look and snoop.
Yeah, goes to doors. Okay. Okay. Sarah, how are you?
I guess for preparing, I scroll a lot on TikTok, I will admit, trying to cut back. It's so good. But when I'm scrolling, I'm also learning about the trends.
Okay.
And so there's also websites you can look at the trends and whatnot, but where's the fun there, right?
Right.
We want to. Just kidding. But that would be my way of preparing, right? Learning the trends, like, oh, how can I apply real estate to this sound that's going by? So you want to hop on it as quickly as possible. The other thing too is you can have posts that you do every single month. I'm pretty sure, don't you do a market update every month?
I'm supposed to.
You're supposed to, it's okay, me too, me too. It's there, the thoughts there. So that makes your life easier. If you have something regular, then you can just do it on autopilot and not have to be as creative. For the ladies, at least for me, you know, if you're gonna make a video, well, the guys too, but you guys take 5 seconds to get ready, so. You wanna make sure you put in, oh yeah, your eyeshadow looks fabulous today. You wanna make sure that you're showing up professionally and looking good, which does take time. But then the stagnant posts that are maybe just a market update, you can do that on Sunday morning in your PJs. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. I love utilizing Google Tasks. And so I have repeating tasks every day. And that's like you just set a schedule. On Mondays, I'm gonna go do a home tour. On Tuesdays, I'm gonna do something not real estate related. On Wednesdays, I'm gonna do a market update or something like that. And that makes life really easy. It's really easy to not do it. So
And that way you're not junking up your calendar, right? So you, Google Tasks.
yeah, Google Tasks. So it'll be on your calendar, but it's not like an actual
Cool.
appointment, and you just mark it completed, and that feels so good. Because I have my vitamins too every morning. So it's a life.
I love it.
Do
Thank
you use
you.
Meta Business at all?
I don't.
Okay.
That would probably be a good idea too.
What was the question?
Meta Business.
Oh.
And that allows you to post up to 30 days in advance.
Yeah.
So
So
it comes out on that specific date. So if you, every Tuesday you wanted to do something, you could set it up so it sets up those things, then you can post around it.
Mhm.
pretty well that through command,
You can do that.
like 2 months at a time.
That's awesome.
There'll be a lot of
Yeah,
opportunities.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just did all the same shit.
I love it. Thank you, Sarah.
So, I have found that I'm much faster at going through calling people and getting across what I have a written out list, but then there's no way to, add it to command or whatever CRM you're using. So just trying to decide up front what it is you're gonna say if you're just calling through and talking with them, in advance. I kind of script that through. If we're calling for a high event or one of our movies nights or whatever it is that we're doing, then we have a script to call that's made for the team. And we have a text that if you don't get them, we leave a message and then text the whole thing, all the information. Or if you talk about it and they say, yeah, send me something. That sounds like fun, whatever. Then you can send that text immediately. It's already something that you just copy and paste. And then the team also sets up an RSVP thing so that if they do want to come, there's an RSVP. So it's all very, very nicely packaged. If it's an event like a seminar or, you know, by night or some sort of activity where we're contributing to the community, cheer drive or school supply drive or whatever it is, they have it all prepped up in advance and the script all written.
I love that.
No excuses. It makes it so much easier.
So is most of your connection through phone calls and the text messages then as we're inviting?
And updating people, probably at least third, I would say. So otherwise it's following up on leads and back to all of that.
Great. All right, Jen, what do? You get ready for your Legion.
I believe, mindset, just have the right mindset, knowing that there's probably gonna be a lot of rejected calls, maybe some people that aren't too happy to hear from me, and just knowing like, just to have the right mindset with every single call that I make or, you know, text message, having the MLS open, having my calendar open. So my goal, once I get somebody on the phone, is to try to set an appointment to get in front of them, showing the house that they first inquired about. So I'm not asking too many questions about pre-approval. I'm not asking more questions other than when are you free to see this home? And then once I get in front of them, once I've, you know, pulled up the information and all that, then that's when I really try to dig deeper with them. So it's really just making sure that I have the MLS in front of me, my calendar, and just trying to get that initial face-to-face with them when I'm getting them on the phone. And I don't have scripts or anything like that. I know that that's like really pushed and like big, but I've just always felt like I just sound like a robot every time I'm reading scripts. So I just tend to just get the vibe from people when I get them on the phone and determine how long I can stay on the phone with them or not, and you know, just kind of fill it out from basically how they sound in that moment and talk quickly if I can, you know, get the vibe that they're a quick talker and a quick, you know, they want the information really quick, or if it's somebody that is, you know, having kind of a chiller day and just like, hey, you know, thanks for calling, and then I kind of just take my time and just ask as many questions as I can. But yeah, it's really just mindset is the thing that I really have to get ready for. And then just knowing like if I'm able to at least set one appointment during this 2-hour block that I put aside, then to me, I've met my goal for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do for mindset?
Slap myself around a little bit. Yeah. No, I mean, really just like, I guess just have your positive mindset that it's okay to get rejected. Like I've learned after so many years that I'm actually in a way hoping I get more rejections because I know that the people that aren't going to reject me are more likely to actually purchase, and I'm willing to spend my time more with those people. So it's like, it's okay if I'm getting, you know, 10 rejections back to back. I mean, it's not fun, but you know, it's like, that's okay. That means I'm just getting closer to the next one that's really serious and really gonna put the effort and time that I want to also put towards them as well. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Cool. So we'll slap ourselves around.
yeah, just do that.
Easier after the first one.
What's that?
Isn't it so much easier after the first one? That it's just getting going.
Yeah, it's really just getting going, just, you know, getting that time of your day started and knowing like, this is what I'm gonna be
Here we
focusing
go.
on the next couple of hours.
One of the things that I do too is that I call a good friend or my mother. First, is the first one on the list, and then it just rolls along.
That's a good
Ooh,
idea.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, or standing up, like your posture.
You have a little bit more energy. Yeah. Very cool. All right. What do you do to get ready for door night?
I think I already shared.
You did. Do you want to
Did.
share your favorite part of that? Do you have to do any mindset door knocking?
You know, I do have to psych myself up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Lionel actually taught me this to kind of just imagine, like, it's kind of cheesy, but like they have the red carpet rolled out for you in front of your home, and you're like walking up, and you know they're waiting for you. Anyway, I just try to get myself in kind of a mindset of I have so much to offer these people.
You do.
And um, not here to try to sell something to them. Or to possibly, develop a relationship.
Her personality is one that doesn't jump down somebody's throat. It's so pleasant, soft spoken, and easy to relate.
Yeah. I
So,
totally agree. That's where you're like, I'm a value where you are. I agree. You're very good at that. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. What goals do you set to create wins and know you are being successful / moving forward? And we'll start with Jen.
I think I already answered, so my goal
Yes,
is
stop
to,
it.
my goal is to try to set one appointment. That's when I know, like, okay, I can maybe lay off on the full-time block that I had set for the day. If I've set an appointment like in the first hour, I might be able to like move on to something else. But usually I'm trying to set at least one appointment in that time block. And that's what I feel is that's my goal.
Okay. Thank you. You did answer that. Okay. Maya, how about you?
Usually my goal is, however many paths I can go, I want to make. So
Okay.
if it's 25, I will run off until I make 25 contacts.
Okay, I'm gonna be super rude. Does everyone know Kate? Oh my gosh.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Okay, start from over there. Introduce yourself so Kate can see you super quick. No, you have to run. Okay. Maya, go.
I'm Maya Kennedy.
Yes,
I'm Jen Johnson.
Sue. Hey, Sue.
I'm Sarah Fields.
I'm Joel.
How are you, Joe?
Caitlin.
All right.
Candid,
Whoops. Start over there.
candid.
I know you too.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, but you met recently.
I'm a Kate too.
All right, Kate. You'll be there.
I'm shopping.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
you are.
Well, thank you for, as you said, you were here, so we should just say hi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, welcome. We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
Just remember, just go easy on us. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. Okay.
Just click accept.
Yeah, exactly. This looks amazing. Sorry, thank you for letting me interrupt you. Okay, so you want to hand out as many packets as you print it out and make those contacts? Yeah. Okay, how many do you normally do? Or does it depend on neighborhood?
Between 25 and 30. It usually it's like 2 hours. So like, and it really depends on the time of day. If it's during the day, there's not too many people home, so it takes a couple hours to make 25 to 30 contacts. If it's in the evening, it's pretty quick.
Okay, and so that was my next question. And so do you just mix it up based on your schedule, or you just try to catch as many people as possible so you do mix it up?
Well, I have kids, so
Yeah.
I do it every day.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And then how do you keep track of the contact information? Like when you're at the door, you're like, oh, what's the best email so I can send you that? Or how do you have something to write down, or how do you handle that part?
Well, I used to use the farming app.
Okay.
Like I think every title company offers it. But I found that it's really helpful. In fact, I kept track of cases of potential business years after because of the farming app. But it takes too long to like input in between homes.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas if I just take a clipboard and a piece of paper, I can just write the address and then notes and then move on, and then put it into a farming applicator.
Yeah, thank you. That's an important detail.
Do you just hit the neighborhood once, or do you go back to the same neighborhood? Like,
Oh my gosh, I've done Willamette Landing many times. But yeah, I will like repeat like Grand Oaks, Willamette Landing. These are pretty good neighborhoods. I like to.
All right, Sarah.
I'm so sorry, I forgot the question.
Oh, what goals do you set to create wins? Great wins, that was the important part, and make sure you're successful moving forward.
I think I covered this a little bit. That's difficult to measure on social media just because you don't have like, oh, I just need to call this appointment. Because I'm gonna make this post and we'll see what happens. And so I think that the goals would just be sticking to the schedule and being consistent, because I think I'm guilty of this too, across the board. That's where agents really struggle with social media. And the agents that are doing it at a really high level and get 100% of their business, and that are doing, 20 million in GCI a year, GCI, or no? That's awesome.
Volume.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Try to be okay.
yeah, I was totally okay with that. They're the ones that are really showing up every single day, being consistent. And that's when I think, moving back to the question, is to measure it is when business is just randomly coming.
Cool.
Which is really cool.
Well, when people reach out to you, do you ask them how they found you?
I don't, I could. The few out of state clients I've had this year, they've just searched for Oregon Realtor and I'm the first one that pops up.
Cool.
And,
Specifically on Instagram
On
or
Instagram.
your website?
Oh, on
I
Instagram.
don't know.
Okay. There you go.
On
Okay.
Instagram.
Sue's like, you know how much I
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Instagram. And so I've had 2 out of state clients from Instagram this year that brought me about 24,000.
Cool.
And one of them was, she had reached out. I honestly thought she was fake. I thought I was getting scammed because her profile, it just kind of looked a little inauthentic. I've never saw her that, but I just didn't know if she was real or not. And so she had reached out like, hey, we're moving to Oregon next year, blah, 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 great. Like, let's hop on a call. She's like, oh, no, we're not ready yet. I'm like, okay, no problem. Like, I'll reach out later. Then a couple months later, she messaged me saying, hey, we found the house we want. We're working on the offer, blah, blah, blah. Well, it was with Lennar. And so they do everything for you. You just have to review it. So I didn't have to show a house. I didn't have to really do anything. And from that, I moved $8,000. And then the other one was out of state from Washington. And we did one showing and that was it. And she came pre-approved with someone through movement. And it's just the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
You have an easy life.
No,
Try your door knock.
I do yeah.
Thank you. Sue, I didn't mean to keep you happening.
That's
for
right. I think when I'm on the phone, make phone calls that I hope to get an appointment and get into a deeper conversation and find out a little bit more about at least a couple different people, have some other future kinds of businesses too. When we're doing an event, then we set goals for that event, how many people are gonna come, how much we should plan for and that kind of thing. So, we keep pushing everyone on the team, hey, we want this many, we need this many more. So we set goals for those sort of things too with ours.
Cool. Thank you. All right.
Goals, I try to do 50 a year, 50 open houses a year. My wife is shocked when I'm home on a Saturday most times. So, and then it's hard to do goals for how people show up. I can't go drag them out of bed to show up. But I do make a goal to get back in touch with them either by Monday, Sunday or Monday. So
But 50 a year is
50 a
pretty.
year, yeah.
That's like one.
Sometimes I do 2 a weekend and I have a weekend off, so it's
Yeah.
not that time. I like 11 to 1 on Saturdays and 1 to 3 on Sundays. And I've tried 4 sisters on Fridays. I've done some cheese and wine ones that I ended up drinking a lot of wine. A lot of cheese. Actually got a lot of that most of the time in the house.
What? How?
So across the street from the office, the old office in Corvallis, when I was at Wilson team, the Wilsons had a house over there and I didn't open a house. And Lyle came over to say hi to me and there was a homeless guy riding by, or standing there and he was go, come on in, check out this open house. So Lyle brought the guy in, Lyle left. I was showing another guy in the house and I heard my beer cooler go jingle, 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 jingle. And he took my beer cooler, my wine and everything out.
That's a good story.
It was fun. It'll be in my book.
I love it.
Yeah, so, And I've actually, Chris Horace will tell you that. And he used to teach class in open house. I don't know if he still does, but he says he did one 5 days a week. So he would find a house that's listed next to a school, a middle school, and he'd do an open house during pickup time. So moms would come by to pick up their kids, and they would stop by to put the kids in the house. So I did that. That was fun. I got a lot of showings all the time at a house doing that. So be creative.
He
You ever-
has a great open house story.
Oh, okay.
What's my open house story? One that lasted 30 minutes
You had an open house that lasted 30 minutes?
in Dallas.
Somebody came in with cash.
you're off.
Yeah. Are you safe?
And an ex-husband and bride.
Oh, that was the show. That wasn't an open house.
Oh.
Well, it was an open house. It wasn't one I was hosting. It was one that I was bringing my clients to. But be careful. The moral of the story is be very careful of divorced people.
Oh, yeah.
Sure that they're both agreeing to the open house and selling the house. The ex-husband showed up and kicked everybody out, and
Oh, shoot.
The
cops
sheriff.
were called. The sheriff was there. It was,
Oh, gee.
it was a nightmare. Yeah,
Hydro.
yeah.
Did you sell the house?
No, they're still dealing with this was like a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still dealing with the attorney and getting the husband to allow people to come to the property.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, divorce regular.
Yeah.
They can't. They can't.
That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a story?
Here's a more story of it. I've got a bunch of those like in the last year. So just a part of some of this, I've got a couple attorneys in town that are friends and everything like that. But I helped a guy who was getting divorced sell his house. And then 6 months later, I helped him buy a new house, and that was also a couple that was going through a divorce. Wife was the only one on title. She's the one that moved out. He's the one that's camped out in beer cans and pot, medical pot, unmedical pot bottles.
Not joking.
There was a lot. But yeah, we do that differently. We closed on it, but he tried to put his soon be ex-wife in the wood chipper.
Sweet.
I'm like,
I'm watching too much TV.
yes. Yeah, no more forensic files for you,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. And then our next question is, have you reorganized your plan or goals to fit our current market? If so, how? We'll start with you, Sue. Correct?
Okay,
You
so,
want me to read it again? It was the wrong one.
yeah, I think, that the important thing is to understand that as the market softens a little bit here, that income could go down. And so just looking at all of your sources of expenses for networking, I just turned down a group that I normally always support every year, one of their activities, just because, you can't continue at the same expense rate if the income's not coming in. So you really have to look at your ROI of everything you're doing, and you're critical through your credit cards and that kind of thing to be ready for the market. That last time it turned down, very sensitive because I was working with 2 developers at the time, and one, I was doing a lot of marketing for it and paying an agent to be at an open house, covering it every weekend and this and that. And when I realized that I had spent 80 grand and no sales from it, that's when I said, this isn't working really. And so you just have to cut your losses a little bit and realize that this market involves, more of doing things as inexpensively as possible. So that you don't end up in a hole and keep the profit margin up.
Yeah.
So let's see what else. Just doing more of the calls, developing relationships, deeper relationships, broad base of them, so that when the market does turn and people are ready to buy, they for sure come.
Thank you. Sarah? The question is, have you reorganized your plan or goals to fit our current market, and if so, how?
In social media.
Yep.
Um,
Like like also just in business, we just want to hear your wisdom. Your topic is social media, but you have something else to share with you.
Social media, not really. I
Okay.
mean, the content's going to be different. Maybe talk about interest rates or how buyers can get their foot in the door or something along those lines, but the goals or the strategy would remain the same. I don't feel like I have as much wisdom on this one because I've only been in it 3 years and I did go solo a year ago. So like the last year has been just kind of learning everything over. And I've still made more money this year than I did the last 2 years. So
Nice.
I might be, I don't know.
Nothing is Steve's.
Oh, yeah, we can feel that.
He loves you.
Yeah. All right, how about you, sir?
I think just urgency as far as, door knocking and doing open houses. And then when I do an open house, I try to educate more than I do just show a house. I mean, back when the market was hot, you didn't have to, it was come in, they would throw. Now it's fewer people showing up for open houses. You get a few skunks in there where there's no people show up, just, that's the market we're in.
So are you planning on doing more than 50 or is that your real?
I'll probably do more than 50 this year. And also, I try to find an open house that's newer or has a recent fight production. That way it's more lively to show up and stuff. It's gonna work 3 weeks. It's gonna happen.
Right. Thank you, Joel. Jen, what do you think?
So my plan doesn't really change when it comes to like reorganizing for expenses and such to kind of, match the slower market because my team covers a lot of the expenses, but I would say my goal has definitely changed. Initially, when I got on the phone with somebody, my goal was to find out if they're pre-approved, set a home buyer consultation. Now my goal is, when are you available for me to open up the doors I can get in front of you? So that's how it's changed for me in this market, is just trying to get in front of them, because I feel like once I get in front of them, there's a good chance. What's that?
They'll follow that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah, and I see that it's more likely once I'm in front of them that we will do business together, so that's my change in goals.
I love it. Thank you. And Maya?
I would say maybe my script a
Mhm.
little bit. Because there's a lot more talk of, well, we're gonna stay put, what's the interest rate? And so just having, shifting techniques. And also working for.
When you say that sentence, what does that mean to you? What does working harder mean?
Putting more hours in. It's just, just that.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Michelle,
Oh, Anthony, yes, thank you.
2 cents. So Joel's already heard this, but I recognize, so like you're like back to like, hey, let's see if they've been pre-approved, set up buyers consults and everything like that. And though I do agree, like the opportunity to kind of bring in a potential buyer into the fold, considering buyers are a little bit more beat up in today's environment, because if it isn't like the fact that they're dealing with interest rates that are more than double what they were a year and a half ago. I understand that, and some of my biggest pain in the butt transactions in the last year have been when I skipped that process at some point. So maybe it is, hey, let me get out there and get that, talk to it and everything like that, but to recognize that the value of a good buyer's consultation is that you get to set expectations and understand what their expectations are, because telling somebody the home inspections for like the big blocks, we're looking at like, health, safety, that type of thing, big expenses, not a nitpick list. When you tell them that before they go through the get the home inspection report that's 75 pages long, it makes that go a lot easier. And when you don't, it looks like you're just trying to sell something. So that like literally I've had some people that just was about ready to fire if they asked me. But maybe one more, and it's because I recognize they didn't set the rules of engagement, like we need to make sure that this is a win-win for both parties right here. And so you add in 2 or 3 additional houses to look at, but then I'm going to show you one. That's not a buyer now. For me, anyway.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Can I add?
Always
So just, so I definitely agree with you. And I only show one home without an actual buyer representation agreement with my client. And I don't offer that agreement until I've actually had a chance to do a consultation. So whether that's at the home that I'm showing them, if I did get that appointment with them face to face, because I do want to prepare them for the process and then learn like how truly motivated are you? Was this just, hey, on a limb, you wanted to take a look at the house, which is okay sometimes too. It's like, okay, I learned, from this one meeting that they're really not that serious, move on. But if I, sense that they're really serious, then I'll go ahead and make sure that I give them the consultation while I'm there at that home. Or if I do happen to be able to set the consultation even before I show them properties, just based on how the conversation's going, that is also my goal, is to make sure that I'm fully preparing them for the whole process and that they're not just blindsided by what a home inspection, like what is that? Or, just knowing what escrow is and like all that stuff. So I definitely do agree with you. That's super important. But my goal is just getting in front of them if that's all I'm gonna get from that phone call. But more even is making sure I'm giving them that consultation to get them fully prepared for the process.
Thank you. All right, we are on question 5. If you were to teach this type of lead gen to an agent so that they can be successful, what would you teach? Don't say we've already talked about it. Think of something new.
What would I see?
And honestly, like, we would love to hear just experience in general. So fine, throw in door knocking, but if there's like one thing you want everyone, because we're all learn from each other. Don't think for a second I didn't learn something today. What would you just want to teach or make sure we all knew anyway? Fine door knocking and fine business.
I would say, don't be afraid to develop relationships with people. Like, for example, there was, he's in his 70s, he was living in Willamette, and this was years ago when I first started real estate. And he said that he was interested in selling his house, but there was an agent already kind of doing that development, we had brought at the time. And so he was considering him. And so I just and then he had mentioned he was having hip surgery. So when he was gone, I brought in like a box of muffin mix from Trader Joe's and stuck it on his front porch with a note. And just kind of developed this relationship with him. And then it developed, and I'd see him at like chamber meetings, and we go out for coffee because we're both cyclists. And then I don't know, like 4 or 5 years later, he calls me and says, an agent knocked on my door. She has a buyer. The buyer wants to buy my home, and I want you to represent me. And he didn't need me. Like, he had everything just kind of fall in his lap. And but I had developed a relationship with him. And he moved to Canada, and now he wants to go back. And we still talk through Facebook, and he comes to visit, have coffee. And so I would just say it's like, I personally think it's like 90% relational and the rest is transactional.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Dan, what do you think?
I think treating every lead the same, whether it's a $50,000 manufactured and park lead or a $500,000 single family home lead, I feel is important, just because I feel like those $50,000 manufactured home or in park leads sometimes can turn into bigger transactions. And I just always have that mindset where I'm going to treat them all the same. So, and it's definitely shown me that it can turn into more than what I initially even thought it was going to be, just because I feel like I have that mindset that I'm going to treat them all the same. And just open up their eyes to different possibilities sometimes is all it takes. And then it ends up being, you know, bigger transactions and easier transactions or whatever the case may be. So I've always tried to treat them all the same.
Love that. You?
Piggybacking on that,
Yeah.
I know that at one point in my other company, some old fart walked in and he had, you know, jeans, terrible clothes, it's awful, and you know, this other person didn't want to give him the time of day. Really, and it turned out he wanted to buy $1 million
Wow.
property, and so you just can't even make a judgment
Yeah.
on anything like that. As far as planning, I mean, as far as teaching sphere of influence stuff, I think it's really important to plan ahead, decide, you know, how many contacts you're going to make on Love Bowl because of that, because it's all a numbers game. And so it's just a matter of deciding how many, you know, who is it going to be? Is it going to be the DTTY, whatever it is? I never can say it. Or, you know, we have a 5 to 5 sort of program going on in our team where, you know, you're 5 this CRM, 5 that CRM, 5 of your own people, or notes, cards, or whatever, just similar to what they teach in Bold. But whatever it is, you know, you need to make a plan in order to stick with it. And for events and seminars and, you know, team kind of meetings at common fields or whatever it is, you put it all on a calendar to start the beginning of the year. Right now, our team needs to do that. So, but we used to have a nice big yearly calendar and put on it, you know, when the seminars are going to be, when the events are going to be, and some idea of what type of events. So it's kind of all out there, because at the last minute you just don't spin it. It just goes by the wayside. So everybody gets busy or whatever. Same with, you know, newsletters, if you put them out. You just need to have a real plan of when it's going to happen, and then stick with that plan. That plan has to be in front of you, and go for it, just like you're saying. You know, when are you going to post? That's Instagrams, etc. So I think that's, you know, that's the key, because if it's not on the calendar, it does not exist.
It's true. It's not just saying it's true. Thank you, Sue. How about you, sir?
I think that if I were teaching social media to anyone who hasn't done it before, my biggest piece of advice would be to do it afraid, or be scared and do it anyway, because it is intimidating when you're not used to it and you feel stupid talking on the camera, and that's okay. Sometimes you might sound kind of dumb, but you'll look back at memories. Like, I see stories from myself like 4 years ago. I'm like, oh my gosh, turn her off. It sounds terrible, but it helped me get better.
Yeah.
And it still was successful. Like, I got sales back then on real estate, but and elsewhere, sounding silly, not sounding as well versed in tweets and whatnot, and not sounding confident. And in my eyes, were our own worst critic. I think I sound like an idiot, but it worked. And it got me to be really good at it now. So just showing up and doing it, even though it's scary, and know that no one's judging you as hard as yourself. And if they are, you don't want their business anyway.
100%. Yeah, thank you.
I have a question for Sarah.
Always.
What do you say to an agent who's just absolutely reluctant to get into the social media business because personally it's not, you know, their interest? I'm asking for a friend.
I guess it would depend on, does this friend want to make it their wheelhouse? Like, if you had something you actually wanted to know, well, it's door knocking, like, oh, it's the last thing I want to do, right? So, but if you want to get into it and you want to be successful with it, that's a different story. You know, we can't all be great at everything.
Yeah.
So, like, picking your levers. So if you want social media to be one of them and you're terrified, I completely understand. So it's just one of those things where you just have to do it and just jump off feet first. But practice in the mirror. If you have to record a video 10 times, who cares? Do you know how many times I've recorded a story and hit X and I rewatch it and I don't like it? But then eventually you're just gonna post it and you're gonna get better at recording and things like that. And also knowing that the market share in social media, especially around here, is huge. Nobody's really on social media doing it well. consistently. There's a couple of agents I follow, like one in Arizona, one in Idaho, and I mean, they are just killing the social media. But there's really no one around here doing that. And so if you have that goal in mind and you want to be that agent, then it's gonna be scary.
Yeah.
I see a lot of lenders do it more than realtors. Like
And sometimes, yeah.
Travis, you go watch
Yeah.
Travis, and they're kind of those heads, but
Yeah.
it's funny, I never stopped watching because I called him because I watched the videos.
I think with that too, I know.
Yeah.
It, and I'll say this politely, so when I've been on a couple teams, and I think that you have to also learn from people who are doing it, not just someone tells you to do. And I don't say that to be disrespectful or anything, but something that I think is a general consensus is, okay, you're gonna go message everyone you know, hey, the first team I was on, I sent a message that was like this long. Looking back, I'm like, I can't believe I sent that. But I also didn't really know any better. I was like, okay, like, sure, I'm gonna go send this to 500 people. I didn't get any business from it. And I also think that you can kind of paint your image as like, oh, they're just a salesperson. So making it about the relationship first, or if you are sending a message that you are in real estate, maybe just make it a little bit people are, hey, I'm in real estate, like, do you need any help? No, okay, cool, how's your dog? But I think I've seen a lot of teams do that, or I shouldn't say just teams, but that was my experience, where it's this whole blurb, oh, I'm on the number one team in the area, and we're doing this, this, and this, and blah, 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 and that's making it way too much about you and not about them. And if I could go back and unsend all those messages, I would, because I think only one of them worked, which I did get a piece of business from it, but most people just leave it on red, and that's what I would do too. So with that in mind, like putting yourself in your audience's shoes, like, would you respond to this message? And that's kind of my take on like sync or cold calling too, like would I want to talk to me? And just being real with that and not being a robot. Sorry, I'm on a totally different tangent, but I think that
Yeah.
you don't have to recreate the wheel. What do they say, like rip off the duplicate?
Something like that, yeah,
Yeah, something like R&D, yeah. Definitely put your own twist on things. I've seen other people too, where they just do exactly the same thing. And if it's all in the same area, like if you're copying someone in Idaho, who cares, go for it. But if you're verbatim copying someone here, your spheres are cropped, your following probably overlaps, and that's not necessarily the best look in my opinion, but just tweak it, put your own twist on it. Bring a chicken into the video and then it's out, right? So I would say if you're scared to get on social media, just start slow, get your feet wet. Maybe you're not getting on stories every day, but maybe you're making a video every couple of days or a post or just something to ease into it, but no, you're gonna have to push yourself. Does that answer your question?
If you had to pick one platform, which would you pick?
I think it's gonna really depend on.
Oh, yeah.
I know. If I had to pick one, it would be Instagram. That because that's where most of my people are, and that's where I'm most active.
Because I'm old, it'd be Facebook. I'm on Facebook.
It's kind of like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah,
Mm.
right. So I really want to like deep dive more on TikTok because I think there is a lot of success there, and you can get a lot more traction. I just think it's more of a long-term goal. I had a video go viral about, I actually couldn't log on for a couple days because I was getting a lot of hate.
Shoot.
Yeah, it's okay now. I'm good now, but my skin's really thick from it. I had a video go viral. It's like 1.7 million views about a year and a half ago. And here's the thing, and this is going back to, you don't really know what's going to be successful. This is a video I made in 2 seconds. I thought it was the dumbest thing in the world. I'm like, but I need to post today, so I'm just going to make this video and post it. And it just went, and I'm sitting there like, what the heck happened? So then you have other videos, you put time and effort, you're like, this is great.
What was the video?
It's,
Can we look it up?
yeah, you can. I'm just sitting at a computer, and I think I'm just, the sound was like a clicking sound that was trending, and it said something like, when you, which I know the cash flow and whatnot isn't exact, but just like for your audience as the buyers, right? Like you're not gonna have investors like, well, do you have your CapEx? But anyway, so something like when you buy a home when you're 21, refinance it so your mortgage is 1,100 or 1,000 or something. I guess this is one of the rentals, and then you cash flow 1,500 a month. And so some people were like, oh my gosh, how do I do that? Which is your target audience.
Yeah,
but then you have the haters that are like, you suck.
You're stealing money.
You're stealing money. Like you're the scum of the
You're
earth.
making too much money, you don't need
Yeah.
to make that much money. blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
and so I actually had to set on TikTok, which is really cool for negative things like that. You can filter words and comments. So a lot of people would put daddy's money. That was a huge comment,
Oh,
which I'm
wow.
like, I wish that was. Come on, daddy, where you at?
Please point me to this.
Yeah,
guy so
where
I
he
can
can work. So I had to put in filtered comments for like scum, daddy, leech, things like that, because it was a
Wow.
lot.
Crazy.
But I got like 5,000 followers from that one video.
Wow.
So the opportunity on TikTok is huge if you actually do get viral, but it's really hard to do it. So again, just post and see what happens.
That's awesome. I'm sorry you went through that.
That's okay. Now I laugh at it.
Yeah.
So I think I made it.
Still.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that. If any friends in here want to do social media. All right, how about you, Phil? I'm sorry. Okay, if you were to teach this type of lead gen to an agent so they could be successful, what would you teach?
Just be conversational with people as they come in, be friendly and follow up. You will sell a house in the open house, you will apply people buy it in the open house, but 90% of them will be 6 months, 3 months, 2 years on it. Put them in a system, I have mine in command with a tag, I put them in a smart plan that shoots emails and texts all the time until they unfollow me.
Mhm.
So, follow them.
Bonus question. Do you five have a pipeline goal for all stages of business? Like 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 12?
Like transactions closed.
So just like pipeline. So,
Oh, just so-
like how's the pipeline? So do you have any pipeline goals for this coming year? Like you always make sure that there's gonna be someone buying within this amount of time.
Laura taught me a great tool that I use on my board, and that is my goal for this next year's 30. My goal's been 30 for the last 7 years. I've never hit it. I've been 28. I haven't done 30. My goal is 30. So by the first 3 months of 2024, I need to have 15 people on my whiteboard that I'm in business with. That's half my business.
Mhm.
So then by June, I have another 15 people on that whiteboard for the whole 30.
Mhm.
And some fall out, one fell off today, that I thought I was gonna get, that they didn't get. So got to replace her, and I got to replace her with somebody else. So keep that pipeline going throughout the year so you get through.
I love that. Sarah?
I usually do have a unit goal,
Mhm.
but when it comes to pipeline, like what Joel is referring to, I am not that organized. So that is the goal of mine, to run my business more like a business instead of just winging it. Just what I've been doing for a year, so we're actually for a while now, but.
Thank you all.
Mhm. 100%.
You all winged it.
Sue,
When it's easy, it's just the wing.
it is easy to win.
My goal is to fill other people's pipelines. Of course. So on the team. So
That sounds good. Jen?
Same as Sarah, more just unit goals. So 30 is my goal for, actually 35 is my goal for this year. And I'm there almost. Cool. So yeah, that would be my remainder goal, 14 or so.
Okay. Ryan?
Same. 24 for the year.
Nice. Wonderful. Thank you. Well, I don't have any more pre-written questions. Does anyone else have any questions? And we would love to hear from you guys. What's your biggest takeaway, like from your career so far? What's a lesson we can learn? If anyone wants to share?
Well, you have to go back through and answer all the questions for networking.
Okay. Sorry. Just like a work session. Sorry about that. What do I do to prepare for lead gen? I make sure I look at something having to do with statistics. So although I'm not throwing real estate in their face, I can show up as a professional. I've learned the hard way from other people and from myself that if I just show up as an entertainer, I don't, however, then they might forget I'm in real estate. And I'm not there to entertain. I'm there to show up as a professional. So if there is, like, say for greeters, you're allowed to say your name, then maybe I'll say a statistic or I'll say something. I'll follow up. I'll have a goal of who I want, how many people I want to meet with that week for whatever event I'm going to. And then I have to set those coffee appointments. This sounds weird, but I don't like going to coffee or lunch. I don't like it. Like, I want to be working. I want to, so it really takes a lot for me to be like, okay, let's go sit and talk, right? So, but it's really good because like I admire everyone who's like, we're relational. I'm like, that's so great. So I do make a goal of 2 usually per social networking event, not socializing friends, but networking event. That was that one. Oh yeah, so I have to talk to more people. So that's how I'm reorganizing this year because I've been very blessed to work with a lot of people I know, right? Or I just get referred a lot. And that's kind of a smaller business. It's fine. But I also need to meet more people so I can then follow, become a relationship with them. That is important to me. I'm definitely not a transactional person. I am relational. And so I need to meet more people. So that's definitely on my radar. It's what I was talking about with my coach today. Like, is it really just a numbers game? That's freaking me out. Seriously. Like you just have to talk to more people. And she's like, yep. I'm like, oh my God, I make this way too hard. So, but then I'm going to, I also don't like talking to people if I'm not going to be about it. So I will not say, sorry, everyone in this room too. Hey, who do you know that needs to buy, sell, invest in real estate? You don't tell people to do that. That's not my point. I don't feel good saying that. So I want to show up of value. So I do come across more conversational. I do say some of the things to disarm, such as, hey, one of the best points to think is, hi, it's Michelle. I'm calling from the home search site. 1, I don't want them tied to Keller Williams. And 2, I don't want them tied to the .home team or whatever team you're on or by yourself, whatever. So that usually, because they're on 5 different sites, so that usually does allow them to be like, oh yeah, okay. And they don't even care which one, right? And then I can ask some questions. So I am going to go through our database more and make more phone calls because I need to meet more people. And I am focusing on my pipeline because if we're doing this the whole time with our people we're working with, then we're not going to be able to do the hockey stick of business because we're always trying to regenerate business. So if I can keep lead gen sacred, like I would a signing appointment, if I know who is in which category of 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 12, and then 12 plus, then to Joel's point, if someone jumps off, well, they have to be filled and I know who's doing what, and I don't just go, oh, I'm so happy someone remembered I'm in real estate and called me today. Like that feels scary, right?
So how would you teach it?
What?
How would you teach them
Well, you have to say, how would I teach them to have a pipeline?
on the network?
Network.
Oh, well, you have to be social.
So I have one. So if
yeah.
you go to chamber has an event,
Yeah.
Do you make a goal to go meet so many new people, or do you? Because I'm kind of I'm loudly shy. I guess I call myself. I don't like big crowds.
Yeah.
How do you go and you pick a number, go meet 7 new people?
I'm like Sue in this aspect. I will go to the people I know first, tour myself up and say hi. And then I'll just be like, hey, I haven't seen you here before. I'm Michelle. And then I will find out their name. 90% of the time they're wearing a name tag or some kind of branded gear. And it's like, oh my gosh, I'd love to hear more about your business. And I have to tell you, I only do that with people I want to do that with.
Do you wear branded? Do you wear branded gear?
Half of it. Yeah. Not all of it, but half the time. So I have to feel authentic and I have to feel genuine. To start with, right? And honestly, if we're doing our jobs, then I need to know people. I need to know like Summit and I need to know Surf Pro and I need to know those things for my business too, like painters and mortgage people. So I do need to meet them, but I start out with people I know. And then I have to discipline myself to go meet new people. And not just talk to them all the time. So I can finally say what you said. I've already covered this, but I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I just go to what I'm interested in. So yeah, just pick like if it's kids, if it's sports, if it's animals, if it's business, if it's whatever, then it's a lot easier because you're interested in it. And then you can join those groups, you can join those nonprofits, and then you want to contribute and you just naturally start meeting people. So I have learned the hard way that you also need to make sure that you're connecting people in the aspect of, do you enjoy going? If it's just a huge, I never went to mommy groups because it was a huge bitch fest. Like I refuse to do it. Like I will not. I went once in my whole entire life when Riley was coming. And if people are just complaining and negative, and then I can't be around that. So not that I like to hear people's stories, of course, but so be okay with You get to choose your environment, and you get to choose who you impact and who you contribute to. So, and then it shows up even more often, right? So, and then see if I were to keep that together. So find something you like, show up, prepare to talk about the market in a different way than why do you ask? Are you looking to buy or sell, right? How can you show up of value? Quoting interest rates, quoting what's happening in your market, like Maya does when she door knocks. Just being that knowledgeable person that's like, oh wow, I learned something talking to her in like 3 seconds, right? Because you are the professional and you are the expert. And so we just do need to show up that way, even in social events. So, oh my God. Does anyone else want to share any ahas or not ahas in us, but like what you're learning or a story that we can learn from? Not to put you under pressure. Super.
I guess piggyback on the social media thing, like it's been tough trying to make it business oriented. Like I've spent the last couple of years doing all stuff on social media. I'm not super worried. All my friends are gonna, like get offended or care that like now I'm not posting about softball or like posting about like what my dog's doing. But like Joel said, your friends care that you're posting about your work, then they probably are. Anyway. And so the nice thing about social media is that like for one, it's free. There's no limit. You can do as much as you want. So like I started posting like at minimum 4 or 5 TikToks a day just because I think it's free. One person comments one thing, and then you just reply to the comment with another video. It's free, like it's free ideas. And then the other thing I started doing is I just went into ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, I'm a realtor and Browns. You give me 20 video ideas for real estate and Browns Oregon. Give me 20 video ideas. You ask, all right, we give me a 30-second script for video number 1. Put in your teleprompter, record it.
That's incredible.
I can do.
I can check GPT thing, man.
I mean, you can get, 20 videos like lined up and recorded in an hour.
Wow, that's cool.
You can even tell it like, okay, this is my brand style. This is how I approach the marketplace. You're giving it. It's like Zach did this with the tech committee. He's like Google. You're asking questions. ChatGPT is your personal assistant. This is what I need you to do for me. So you're giving a command versus making a request. Right. Or you can say, what additional questions can I answer to help this be a better thing?
Right. Or you can read the script and say, hey, ChatGPT, this is kind of bland, you make it funny. And then they'll like liven up the script.
That's cool.
Is that through Google you're saying, or is that through TikTok?
No,
Yeah,
it's ChatGPT.
So you just, I don't know what that is.
So where do you use your platform then after you get your script and videos? Is it TikTok?
Oh, I just copy and pasted the teleprompter.
It's AI.
ChatGPT is a website that you can go to that actually is an AI that you can ask questions. to.
Oh, okay.
So if you type in ChatGPT, it'll let you log in there.
Gotcha.
And then you can just ask questions or give it commands or whatever.
That's amazing. Awesome. Okay, well, Joel is cutting us at 2:30.
My legs fall asleep.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you online people for coming. It's really fun. So thank you. Everyone have a really awesome day.
for having us.
Thank you. Go get them. Go team, go.